All right, so as always, this will be recorded and posted on YouTube afterwards. It is Wednesday, a little bit later today, 9:07, March 31st. Just gotta go ahead and mute all you guys. Let's see. All right, cool. So as always, I'm gonna just run through all the pairs that I'm looking at for today, for this week. Been a slower week for myself. Haven't been trading too much, but some things are moving to where I wanted them to move, but I'm about to switch up some of my ideas. So basically, the whole point of this session is just to show you guys what me and Nick go through when looking for trades. We're gonna stick on the higher time frame here, mainly the 4-hour and the daily time frame. I'm gonna start off with the dollar index. So this blue list was kind of the pairs that I was looking at more closely, looking for entries on. As we see with the dollar, guys, we always look at the dollar index because this is just the value of the US dollar. I'm looking at all my major pairs mainly to trade, and I also trade GJ and gold right now. So looking at the value of the dollar index is obviously going to be beneficial when looking at all these pairs that are favored, or not that are favored, that are paired with the dollar. So dollar has been bullish, for quite some time. Broke out from this low right here, made this new high, and then we just started to rally, push higher. Where we're currently at right now is we are definitely testing support. We have 2 hours left on this candle right here. And as you can see, if this level starts to hold below resistance, this 93 260 area, we could potentially start to pull back even further on this, moving up to a higher time frame to kind of clear up that a little bit. I am anticipating a move towards this, let's see, towards this 94 area. We were looking and seeing how we were reacting to this area down here. Oh, my screen is froze. To this area down here, which is about 93. 93 was our first really resistance area. We blew past that. So now we're going to see how ultimately we react to this 94 area. Whether we do get a little bit of a pullback here, I am just anticipating the dollar continuing to be bullish and to continue moving higher here. Going back down to the daily, again, clearly very bullish. 4-hour time frame, bullish, and then ultimately, if we wanted to get down onto a lower time frame, this is kind of what I'm talking about. Not as significant, but we had this push up, this like minor pullback. This was to open the week right here. And then we had the push up, or this actually wasn't open the week, just a little bit of a gap. And we had this push up, and then now we broke that support and we're testing it. So I'm seeing whether we push up, hold above kind of this level, like we talked about on the 4-hour. If we can hold above this support level, and this thing's certainly still very bullish. If we start to close below here, to close more bearish, this thing's going to start to collapse a little bit, retest. Ultimately, this like 93 level right here. So I'm just going to mark that down just for my personal reference. This like 93 on the higher time frame is definitely a significant level. So we'll see. We have about 1 hour and 48 minutes left on the close on this one in particular. So that being said, let's take a look at some scenarios. If this shoots down, AU, all these pairs will most likely move in the direction opposite of the dollar. If this continues higher, then all these pairs will continue with their trend with the dollar. So let's take a look first at AU. I've been plotting this trade idea. I believe this one's actually out in the signals. Let me pull this up. Yeah, we have this AUD USD. We had this short opportunity last night that I got more aggressive with because we were just kind of waiting for things to develop. Going down from the weekly time frame. So the weekly time frame is very clearly transitioning to be bearish. We were bullish up until this point, pushed higher, huge bearish engulfing with a huge wick. And then we formed this support level right here. And then as you could see, pushed below the support level last week. That's this level right here. And now we're holding below that level. We had the retest. So it's looking like this week's going to close. And then this would confirm that this level is then broken. Coming down to, take this off. Coming down to a lower time frame. So let's work our way down to the daily. Daily time frame is clearly bearish ever since this point had been broken. So this broke, pushed up. This was the retest of the resistance, double top here. And then we formed this like minor support level. This level broke actually to open the week. So it broke right here. So this level broke to open the week, boom, pushed down. Now we're retesting the resistance right here. And this is just clearly, what we're looking for. It's very simple. Like if we were to go back on this daily time frame going into the week, this was the idea, was okay, where is the most valuable area to start to sell from? We're all the way at this low. We don't want to start selling down here. We want price to push back to this area. This level of support turned into resistance right here. That's the area we want to start to sell off of. This is also this monthly level that I have marked there. So that's where we have the most value at. As we could see, price came up, retested that level. Doji, following that candle, formed an evening star. So this gave us all the confirmation we need. Coming down to the 4-hour now, this is what I was basing this trade on. We had this flip, we had support level. So we were pushing up, we broke the resistance, pushed up, made this higher low, pushed up, made this higher low, pushed up, made this higher low, and then we broke that level right there. And then as we could see now, like what was I looking for to take a trade? I actually put a sell limit up here. Ultimately, if this level was met, this, is my opinion, has the most value. As we can see here, we already pushed up, tested this level, rejected it a bit. This is where we got in on a little bit of a trade last night, just super aggressive on this one, all the way down to the 30-minute. Pretty much price had come up to this area, formed this retest of this high right here, long wick to the upside. So then I just went down and did a little bit of a scalp position where I was looking at the trend on the lower time frame. Clearly the trend was bullish, made this higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, pushed up to this high. Then we had this higher low, pushed down, closed kind of below the level, but was testing it. And then ultimately this happened, broke below. And then this is when I put a sell limit right here. So the trade idea was sell limit here, stops up here, targets, down here, nothing too crazy because this was a scalp. It came up to the level, rejected it pretty well, and then it came down into some profits. We put stops to break even at this point, so we were up about 1-to-1, maybe a little bit over at the peak. And then I instructed people, either take profits. Ultimately, guys, this was a very short-term move because the overall move is up here. This is where I want price to come to. So that was just like a super aggressive trade to get in on. We see how it played out. Ended up dumping pretty much to our target. So pretty well. Ended up double topping here and then fell really well to ultimately a 2-to-1 type target right there. So that one played out really well. And then as we come up now, price shot up. So that trade we're out of, and price is coming up now to this next level. And it's doing the same thing as before. It's just that I don't have as much confirmation. So let's play this forward, see where we're currently at. So as we can see now, price came up damn near close to our level. It hasn't, hit it quite yet. And at this point, price has broken support up here, tested as resistance, broken support right here, tested as resistance right there. So when would I look to get in on an entry on this if I was trying to be like super aggressive? I'd have to come down to this 5-minute time frame. And again, the best level to trade at would have been this right here because that's that 30-minute. As I come down to the 5, like entering on the sell limit right here and stops above here would have been the best entry, would have already been up 1-to-1, you know, and then been able to maintain that trade pretty well. So at this point, we're going to need to get in on this idea, a pullback in order to get in lower, never enter at a low, you know, in a downtrend, guys, never entering at a lower low, always looking for that pullback. So coming up to the 4 hour, it certainly looks like this thing has enough to start to push lower. So I may try to aggressively get in just so we can kind of catch that move and get in with the trend right there. But I'm not going to enter now. I'm going to wait for this low. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to wait for this higher or lower high to be met. And then as we can see, it's already slowing up. Wicks are forming. So if this thing pulls back to this level, that's going to definitely be my trade idea. If it blows through all of this, remember, like, this level up here is certainly still in play. This resistance level is still in play up to this point. So we'll be waiting on that one. And then this thing has a lot of room to fall. It's testing a serious level support right here. And if it falls, it's going to go first to this level, 80 pips. Then next to this level, 260 pips. So that's AU. Let's go next to NZD USD. Let's come up. So we're on the daily time frame right here. So let's start off on the weekly. So I'm always going to do the top-down analysis, always going to start on the weekly time frame. So weekly, we've been following this for a little while, or a while. So we pushed up, obviously very bullish, guys, and then we had this bearish engulfing here telling us, okay, sellers are starting to step in, long wick to the upside. We pushed back up, so this became that higher low. Another long wick rejecting the monthly, push down. Now this level's tested again, and then we just broke that all the way on the weekly, broke it. Now we're far below. So this thing has transitioned to be very bearish on the weekly time frame. Down to the daily time frame, get this arrow back. Down to the daily time frame, we can see price had been bullish, was rising higher, forming these higher lows. So formed this higher low, pushed up, struggling around this area, pushed up, and then ultimately what happened? We had this break of support right here. Boom, retested that level, double top, bearish engulfing. This thing pushed down. Now at this point, the ideal position that I would look to trade in would be either 38.2 or the 618. 618 is obviously the retest of the low. 38.2 is obviously a couple confirmations. We have this previous low over here that would have been acting as resistance, and obviously the fib level. So these are the two main levels here that I'm looking to trade from. But look how price is acting right here. Price pushed up, bullish engulfing. Then we had this bearish engulfing. Didn't exactly close entirely as like an evening star. Let me come up here. So it didn't actually close entirely like as an evening star right here. And now we're pushing back up. So the bulls are kind of stepping back in. As I come down to the 4 hour, let's take a look at this one. Originally, I looked at it like this. We had this push down, resistance formed, push down, resistance formed, push down. Then we broke the resistance, flipped around into kind of a buy position, but I wasn't trying to buy it at this point. But as you can see, broke resistance, pushed up, formed a higher low, pushed up. Then we just snapped, broke this higher low. This is that evening star. And originally, this is where I was looking to trade from. I was looking to trade from this level as we push down. As you can see, price has pushed up now into the resistance level. So in my opinion, this level has some good confirmation. The support turned into resistance is strong on the 4 hour time frame. We're not near that previous low, at least this one or this one. So the trade is a little bit more risky. As I come down to the 30-minute and ultimately a time frame that I want to potentially enter on, we could see this pushed up really strong, starting to consolidate around this area, form this higher low, push down, push up, long wick. So we could be seeing a trade on this literally right now, really soon. Coming down to the 5-minute time frame, we don't want to get kind of look too closely into this. We were obviously very bullish, pushing up, pushing up, pushing up. This never broke trends all the way until here. broke support, pushed down, pushed up here. Now we just made this like lower high. So this trade really is valid right now for an entry, in my opinion. You know, this thing is at the high right now. We've got our stops above this previous lower high. So this trade really is valid right now, 3.3 risk reward. So I'm going to get this one out there because I like to take this play because it's at the kind of main resistance level right now. So it definitely has some value there. So if you guys wanted to take this position, just don't risk your whole account on it. You know, be careful. Risk 0.5%. Use a lot size calculator. Let's see. So what is that? 1.69950. Let me just so you guys will get a little bit of a freebie trade here. This has just been a trade idea I've been following throughout the week. Again, I haven't been trading too much this week because I haven't liked per se the positions that have been lining up because everything has moved pretty dramatically from last week. So I'm just trying to wait for things to come to those more appropriate levels. So this is the idea on NZD right now. We'll see if this holds below the resistance right there. Next, let's come over to USD Cad. Let's clean this up a bit here. And let's bump back up to a higher time frame. I'm going to come all the way up to the weekly time frame here. So this thing has been very bearish. So we've been pushing lower, broke the support, pushed lower, failed to retest ultimately this level, but tried to retest a previous resistance level as we could see right here, and then pushed lower, formed support right here, broke that level, pushed lower, broke support here, pushed up, broke lower, broke support here. Now I'm looking for this next potential push down. So obviously we're retesting the resistance right now, forming some wicks, but we're still very strong. The buyers are still here on the lower time frame. So as they come to the daily time frame, this is what needs to transition. Daily is bullish, form this higher low, pushed up, form this higher low, pushed up. You know, ultimately we were monitoring it around this level, had gotten on a short, and then we closed it at break even because it just wasn't pushing. Coming to the 4 hour, this will kind of clear all this up. Look at all of this. So I'm going to come up to, let's see, this channel right here. So at these highs, we're obviously forming, you know, some sort of up ascending channel here, which is a weakening kind of trend, weakening position. On the 4 hour time frame, look at the structure, pushed up, formed this like minor support level, pushed up, respected it, pushed to this new high, came down, respected the support level, started to range, you know, ultimately pushed up again. So we are clearly in an uptrend on this 4 hour time frame. And ideally, guys, what I would want to see if we were to exercise ultimately the most amount of patience would be a break. This would be the best way to trade this. It would be a break below this level. Boom. And then we would look to short at this point right here. So this is ultimately the idea that we'd be looking for. Break below the support level, boom, test it as resistance, and then go lower. If we were trying to get in on this more closely, we would just come to the 1 hour, the 30-minute. We could see the 1 hour. There's been opportunities. If I was just trying to be bearish bias, this level broke, tested as resistance. As you can see, I was looking in this area. This level broke support, tested as resistance, pushed down. You know, at this point, we're forming some support. If this breaks, we could then wait for the retest of that and potentially short it. So that's like two ways to play this more aggressively and more conservatively. You can see on the 30-minute, this is very clean, pushed up, made support, broke support, tested as resistance, pushed down, tested as resistance, pushed down again. And then now we just double topped right here. So we're going to push lower. We'll see how low we go. We'll see how much lower we go. If this thing does start to make it to this level, you know, I could set a limit here and try to sell this once it retests. But that's the idea on UCAD. And this one lines up a bit differently than obviously NU. So if UCAD continues to push lower, that means NU would push higher. And if NU starts to push higher, I'll cut this trade, and then I'll go into UCAD and I'll take a position on this trade because this is where this is obviously, you know, where the trend would be if this thing is pushing lower. So two trade ideas, not all the major pairs line up normally, you know, with the same bias. They all have different structure. That's why when people talk about correlations and all of that, you know, it's not true. Not everything is correlated. So if it's two different scenarios. If NU or if the dollar gains strength, NU will fall. If the dollar has weakness, then UCAD will fall, and we'll get in on UCAD, and it'll kind of protect ourselves. So in a way, we're kind of hedging, you know, against ourselves. So let's see. Let's go now to the next pair. I'm going to go on EU. This was a trade idea that was given earlier in the week. I'm just going to move this one. We're going to come up to the weekly time frame. We're going to take this off. Let's see. 1 second. All right. So on this one, guys, on the weekly time frame, we could see price pushed up to this high, and then we started to collapse. We broke support here, pushed down, never retested as resistance, broke support here, pushed down, never tested as resistance. So we're just in a free fall on EU, things just pushing lower. I know a lot of people that were trying to look for buys at this level. And to me, it made not much sense. Obviously, it's a support level, but this thing has been so bearish. Like they were looking to take a buy off of here and get back up. But the euro is obviously extremely weak. The dollar is really strong in comparison. The trend is as bearish as it's ever going to be. So I didn't understand that concept too much, just trying to buy right here. You know, this is just showed a bearish engulfing, was pushing lower. So as we can see, the trends, you know, just keep it simple, guys. Pushed up, made this higher low, 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 broke, retested it, not entirely, didn't make it all the way up, but broke lower. Then we retested this support level, formed some minor levels in here, broke lower, retest, broke lower, or not exactly, formed the lower high, retest the lower high, push lower, retest the resistance right here. I was looking for a retest of this level. This would have been a better value area, but we did have this level, and it confirmed with a double top there. And then we obviously want to kind of open this up a bit more. So I'm going to come down to the 4 hour. So we can see on the 4 hour time frame, things look a little bit more clear. We had this lower high, push down, this next lower high, push down, lower high, push down, and then this level. And then this is when we took this trade. When this pullback happened, we had a break of the support right here on the retest. This is where we entered. So now, you know, what are we looking for potential entries now? So ideally, this is our next kind of leg right here. We need to see another pullback, another retest. So ideally, we get up to this level and then look for shorts. This combination here, again, it kind of puts me in the same the same idea as UCAD. We just had a minor break of resistance and pushed up, and now we're retesting the resistance as support. And this thing could now potentially go higher. And this is ultimately where we want it to go. So we could take another short. So let's go down to the 30-minute and take a look at this combination. Yeah, so this is really clean right here. Break of support, you know, we're finding or break of resistance, we're finding support here. This would actually be this trade idea, and I might flip around. I'm going to go after the call. I might flip around because I want to take one of these other positions because these are lining up. What the hell is this? These are lining up to be really clean. I'm going to take one of these other positions, and whatever, if NU pushes, you know, to the upside and to drawdown, I will exit and I will maintain one of these. So this would be the opposite of that idea. It would be we find support at this level right here, and then the target would be up here to retest that previous 4 hour level, and then the stops would be right here. So in order to get on this, I'd have to get down all the way to the 5 minute, you know, see some sort of break. We at the least need to see a break of this level. So what this would look like is either you're taking trades now, you're not protecting yourself as much, or this thing pumps on the 5 minute, breaks above this area, and then gives us our opportunity to take a long. It could be even like this. In this area, we had this little flip where it pushed above, retested, pushed above, put our limit here, see if we can catch it on the limit before it pushes up a bit. So this is gonna be a trade that plays out relatively quickly. So this is EU. So I'm gonna be watching that one closely. Let's look at USEF. Let's come up to the daily time frame. Or let's go up to the weekly. This pair is obviously extremely bullish. Pushed up higher. Now the next resistance level really is up here, all the way at this 95, 500 level. Coming down to the daily. I'm just gonna take off these fibs for now. So the daily is extremely bullish. Again, pushed up to this high, consolidated in this range, broke out of it, and then we never retested. This is why I'm not really watching this pair too closely right now. It's just on this like overextended run right now. So actually looking at this again, the 4 hour does show some opportunity. So pushed to this high, pulled back, had these resistance levels form, then we broke ultimately this level right here, and then we just broke this level right there. So this would be the level that I would get value from, buying off of that support level. And we're starting to consolidate now in this area. So let me come down to the 30 minute. And this is what I would look for. We don't even really need this. Ultimately, this is where I would want to take the buys, right in here, as this is falling down into this level. If we start to see rejection, that's ultimately where we want to take buys. Ideally, we start to consolidate and then have this like transition on the lower time frame down there. So we're either going to buy at that level, or it's going to collapse through that level, and we're going to start to take some sells. So this is a good idea on USEF. I'll post this one inside of the chat. We got gold coming off of that 1680 level again. This is major support here. So let's go all the way up. This doesn't tell us much besides the fact that we are in a downtrend, broke support right here. Now we're pushing lower on the weekly. Let's go to the monthly. Now we're on the weekly time frame. Again, same thing. In a downtrend, we started to break these support levels, retesting, breaking, retesting, break. Never retested this level. Ultimately, we just pushed up and started to reject this area, which on the daily, as we could see, was a retest of the resistance. So we broke support here, pushed down, formed this like little bit of a lower high, very minor, pushed to this 1680 level, pulled back, and then this was that level I was trying to trade off of all of last week. That unfortunately stopped us out. Unfortunately stopped us out before pushing much lower. So let's go down to the 4 hour. For those that were watching this, we actually took an entry last week right here. This thing pushed down and then came back up. We got out at break even, had this fake out, and then this next opportunity with this next lower high, which I did not get in on, unfortunately. So now, where we're currently at, let me delete this. We pushed to this new low, all the way down here. Now we're at the support level, form this bullish engulfing all the way at the bottom here. So this is a lot of room to pull back right now. The level that I'm looking at is this area right here. Boom. So we got to see how price reacts to this zone right here. And this is potentially a 38.2 right there too. So once price reaches this area on the 4 hour, that's when I'll be looking for sells. Until then, it looks like this thing's going to be fairly bullish, pushing higher kind of into that level. So that's going to be golds. That's the idea for that. Wait for it to retest that resistance level. Let's come over next to GU. And all of these are looking like this. So I'm going to revisit this NU idea because all these are looking like they're about to push. And as we could see, NU a bit is coming up. So what I'm going to do with NU, let's come down to the 5. This thing's breaking. So I'm going to close NU in a little bit of loss because it's right off the bat not showing us what we want. Close. And then I'm going to hop in one of these other things, -6. Because as we said, guys, there's opposite ideas right now. Look at UCAD. This thing's pushing in the direction we want it to push in. So this is going to be something that we want to get in on. I'm going to take this one, move this one down. We've got AU, we've got UCAD. Hold on. So UCAD's the main one. And then we've got EU. This is the one that we can kind of take advantage of right now. So see how we're breaking this resistance level now? So this is going to be the trade on EU. We're going to do this 10 stop, and then you're going to target again that 4-hour level. And I'm going to take this one off. So I'm going to put this one in myself once I get off and Nick hops on and starts to rip through some analysis. But we just got to, obviously the New York session's opening, the momentum shifting a bit. The dollar looks like it's getting a little bit weaker. It's pushing down a little bit on the 5. Let's go up to this. Yeah, so the dollar's transitioning a little bit. It's rejecting that resistance. We've got 20 minutes left, obviously, in these candles. Look how it's rejecting that level that we talked about earlier right here. Because remember, we wanted this 4-hour to close above this area. And this 4-hour is not giving us what we want right now. It's rejecting the fuck out of this area. So going back again to, we got UCAD. This one's forming the way we wanted to. We just want to get on the pullback. And then ultimately EU is going to be the best trade for us to get in on right now. I want this 5 minutes to close above this level like it is to show that it's holding. If this 5-minute rip down, then it's just acting as resistance. You know what I mean? Look at this previous area, pushed up, rip down, bearish engulfing. If this level holds, then it's clearly a little bit of a break and we can get in on some action on this. And it's a lot of value here because the trade is 3-1. The first target would be this level, and this is when we would make ourselves risk-free once it hits that target right there. So this is the best trade idea for the moment. Let's look at USEF as well because we're looking at this one. Yeah, so USEF's just fallen again back into that support level. So yeah, this is also going to be a good idea. So I'll be dropping these analyses in the signals chat. And guys, this is also when it comes down to, I'm cutting the loser, I'm cutting the loss, short right here. As you can see, it's opening, pushing higher. Originally, what we were looking for like to hold below this resistance. This snapped up. So we got in here, this was looking nice, and then just started pushing higher. So there's no reason to continue to be in this trade. So let's go back to, I have 2 more pairs I want to look at. GU, which is looking extremely similar to EU. So let's go here up to the weekly time frame. So going into this week, we broke this support level, long wick to the downside. So telling myself we're looking for the retest of this level, but we're looking to see, does this week push up and hold above this support level right here? Does it close below? This is telling me that there's still a lot of buyers. There's still a lot of buyers to potentially push this higher and get some sort of retracement here, realistically. So let's come down to the daily time frame. So we got the daily time frame here. Ultimately, going into the week, this was the idea. The idea was to come up, let's get this arrow, to come up, retest this level. We had come down, form support, broke, come up, retested the resistance, formed this level of support, pushed up, retested the high, pushed down. The best place to trade from would have been this level, to get in on a trade at this level. As you could see, price push up, wicked that level, perfectly. So now we have to see like what's going on all in this area. When can we potentially start to take advantage of this? So that's the daily time frame. Coming down to the 4-hour time frame. So 4-hour time frame, pushed down, made this lower high, broke that level, pushed all the way up into that resistance right here. We were taking shorts here. We were taking some shorts here. Ultimately, this level broke, pushed down. No entries in this area. Waiting for this to be retested. This just broke. So it broke. Now we're pulling back. Retesting it. This could come all the way back up now into this high, coming down to the 30-minute time frame. 30-minute time frame was bearish, as we can see all in here, pushed to this low, minor pullback here, broke the support, turned into resistance. This was a crazy trade that I whiffed on, like I could have got in on. This support level broke, retested it, pushed all the way down, broke this resistance, pushed up, pushed up. All this is minor, and then this is what broke. This just broke, pushed up, retested, pushed higher. Now we're retesting this level, obviously showing a ton of rejection. So ultimately, this thing is going to most likely push back into that high point up here. That's the way things are showing. That's the way momentum is going right here. If we come down to the lower time frame, we could see this is starting to transition. And we just need to see if this holds above this area. If this starts to hold above this area, the trade's going to be this. Boom. So this would be the trade idea. It holds above the level, and it's not going to come up that high. It's going to be more something like this. And then we would take that buy right at the support level and hold until this area, and it would be a decent risk reward. So I'm going to bring that one into the watch list. And then we did gold. This thing obviously is pushing higher, probably going to retest support now. And then we've got the last one is just GJ, which we can't really do much on because it's just so freaking bullish right now. Looking at this on the weekly, thing was bullish, pushed above the resistance level right here, formed some support. And then we've got the daily time frame, which we pushed to this high, broke the support, started to fall a bit. But overall, the trend is bullish. The trend is bullish. This was our most significant high or low. That thing got respected. Just focusing on this, it's just pushing up down to the 4-hour. This is where I mapped out most, or like pretty much all my structure right here. We had this high, pushed down. This is where we took that short last week, pushed down, broke the resistance, retest this support, retest support, and then we just hiked higher now. So I was either looking to sell at this high, a lot of value here, or it's breaking now. So, this idea is no longer valid. And what we're actually going to be looking for is going to be a now retest of the support, get in on some sort of higher low and just continue to head higher. This thing has been buying up since March 24th. So for 7 whole days, this thing's been buying up. So, GJ, no trades on this one. I'm going to focus on these other pairs for now. But everything I went over, GJ, golds, EU, UCAD, USEF, AU, NZD, USD, and GBP USD. So I'm going to pass it over to Nick. He joined us a little bit late. So I'm going to give it over to him. He's going to run through all the rest of the major pairs, and then stick around at the end. I'll give you guys some updates on FX Seed and some of our programs and everything like that. So let's see the chat real quick. Thought on GJ. So just went on GJ. Yeah, GJ long. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to pass it over to Nick here. Let's see. Get you unmuted too.
There we go.
So
cool, good analysis, man. A lot of value in that. Pretty much all that analysis is spot on too, because however DXY plays out this week, a lot of the positions that Angelo just gave out, play into this falling a bit here. So this is just going to be a quick recap. This is on the 4-hour. Overall, DXY is very bullish, as we know, but as Angelo highlighted, we are seeing some transitions, right? We are at a key level of resistance, very strong resisting trend line. We're seeing a bit of transition here, break of a higher low, right? New presence of a lower high, potentially with an engulfing. Next targets would be down towards 92.85, 92.425, and then potentially lower and lower, okay, as it continues to transition through these time frames. But right now on the 1 hour and lower, this is looking clean for a drop. I said it's DXY, but yeah, this thing has been crazy bullish for a while. This is so textbook. 30-minute here, getting an evening star, massive rejection off this level. This would be our next stop. So for the sake of, analysis, you can't trade DXY. We're not going to trade DXY, but if you were to mark up a trade idea, this is essentially what it would look like, right? 30 pips, risking 15, well-protected stop loss, entering on a break and retest, transition, and then multiple, confirmations. So it's evening star, exhaustion, so on. So yeah, DXY is looking pretty bearish right now. We'll see how it plays out if this momentum keeps up. But in my opinion, this is just super overextended. It really is due for some sort of correction. And now would be a good time. Very good time. Okay. So that's DXY. Let's move on to AU. AU, again, a lot of pairs this week are going to be super dependent on what DXY does. If DXY is falling, we'll see a lot of, XXX USD pairs start to appreciate, and vice versa. If USD reverses, starts, rallying again, we'll see, these pairs start to fall. Okay, so let's go to the daily real quick, see what AU is doing. We know we're overall bullish. We know we've been kind of ranging in this area for a little bit, just above 0.64 or 7.6, and then just below 0.78. So we've seen some reaction in this area for quite a while. The key support right here is the weekly, 0.76. So this is really kind of the deciding area. If price action bounces or breaks from here, it's going to determine a lot for this time frame. So let's go to the 4 hour now. See what's going on here within all this ranging. Okay, lots of consolidation here, lots of ranging between this inner zone, but then we're starting to break lower. Okay, so this whole area is still considered ranging, right? We did fall back down to the lower portion near our weekly, where we are now pretty much flatlining, right? We're consolidating pretty heavy here. We did get some minor breaks of resistance, minor breaks of support. Not really much going on here, but one good sign that we can see is that this is essentially a double bottom, right? Oh, let me draw this over a little bit more. This is essentially a double bottom. So the way that this could go is if we see this. This could be a good potential entry. Let me just draw this line in real quick, and then we'll drop down. Okay. So this is the conservative route, right? This is the trade that could take place on the 4 hour once this level breaks, 0.68, once we see a higher low, and then strong confirmations. So that's going to take a while to play out. It's not going to be an intraday trade. This is probably going to take a few days, if not, play out next week. So we'll see on that. But for now, short-term trades, guys, what could you, see down here? Essentially, you could get in on a little trade like this. If you go down to the 4 hour, down to the lower time frame, let's see here. Here's the 1 hour. Okay, so this could even be more of like a 30-minute trade. Here we go. All right, so this is that lower portion where that double bottom's forming. Okay, so this is a key level. We want to see a higher low above this to then enter on. Okay, so that would be a nice little trade. Pop above, higher low, strong confirmations, and then we're targeting key resistance. This is what it would look like. 50 some odd pips. You could push this to 25, still be well over 2 to 1. Good trade there. Again, stop loss is going to vary depending on where this higher low forms and what kind of confirmations you see. But essentially, this is the trade into this zone. Okay, and this is looking very likely right now. So let's go back to the 4 hour. Okay, so you catch this short-term trade into this resistance, and then you close the trade there, reanalyze at this point, see if it's going to break or bounce, and then we'll catch this larger trade, or maybe we'll be turning our sentiment and looking for more bearish scenarios. Okay, but this is AU right now, definitely looking more bullish than anything else, especially with the DXY analysis in mind. All right, so that's AU. Let's move on to AJ. This one's actually looking so clean. Let's go to the daily first, and then we'll go over some trade scenarios. So overall, very bullish on AJ. Much like AU, we have had this area of ranging for a little while, right at the top of this rally. So very, very strong trend. The key zone here is this weekly, 83.25, something to be aware of. Okay, let's drop to the 4 hour now. So yeah, here's that ranging, right? A little bit of resistance up here, a little bit of support down here, and then some in between. So this has been a key area. The volume is held though, which is nice. And recently we did get a break of a minor level of resistance here, which led to this rally back into the upper portion of this of this range. Okay, so pushing higher, the volume is actually increasing. You can see the size of the candles, definitely super bullish, and looks like it's continuing with that trend. We did just break resistance at 84.15. So at this point, we're at the 1 hour time frame now, right? We saw a 4 hour break. That's the first step, right? Now we drop down time frames, and now we're looking for entries. So what do we need to see on this time frame to catch a trade, right? Catch a long opportunity. Essentially this right here. Let me clear this up. So this could go a couple ways. Where did this go? So on a break of this, 84.325, or so any break of that you could take an entry on, or wait for some sort of retest. So either of this resistance that's going to break, or 84.15, something a little more significant. So this is where I'll often like to use my MAs, just to get a little more precise on things. This is how I use them too. So I want to see this push up a little bit higher, probably to this point. See price action pull back through the MAs, find support, and then cross them on some strong bullish confirmations, right? Some strong bullish variations. That's kind of really what I want to see at this point. And this would be a really good trade. I would play into this this higher time frame trade right here, this 4 hour, and we would target higher towards prior highs. So naturally 0% here at 85.35, and then of course our negative 27 fib level closer to 86.225. All right, so that's AJ right now, looking pretty good. Just got to wait on a couple more things. Definitely super bullish though. Okay, look, it's going to push once this candle breaks out here. All right, so that's AJ. Let's move on to our next pair, UJ. Daily time frame to start. All right, we know this is super bullish, guys. Has been since we saw this breakdown here, right? Clean break of 104.5, higher lows ever since, breaking through other levels of resistance like 107, which is our weekly, and then, you know, pushing higher outside of this resisting trend line. So if we go to the weekly, this thing is really making an attempt to push higher here, guys. So you can see how bearish this weekly is. Here is that resisting trend line. Price action is pushing higher than it, right? So the max that we could see this potentially going is up to this area, around 112 probably, you know, in that area, in between 112 and 113. If this does continue with this trend, you know, we'll go up that high, but, you know, we'll see. We will see. So let's go to the 4 hour again. I kind of want to just stress here what we're seeing. So very overextended price action, as we know, and we can kind of consider DXY into this equation here because, again, this is a major pair. DXY is really influencing the market right now. So you can see this looks pretty much like DXY. Super bullish, very overextended. There's a lower time frame transition happening. You can see this engulfing. We go to the 30-minute, 15-minute now. So we have a not as significant as a transition here, but we do have this. Okay, so it's more of a minor transition, but could be the first step into a major. So this would be the next step. See price action fall down to this level. Let's jump back up for a second. Okay, so essentially we need to see a little bit more, right? We can't take a trade on this. We're not going to buy at a high. We're not just going to sell on a lower time frame transition. We want to see a little bit more. So for now, we got to wait. For now, we have to wait. Ideally, I would really like to see price action come back down to support down this at this area, just around 109.5, and then a reversal from there. Why did it do it that way? There we go. So this is very likely something we would be interested in. This gives us a correction, chance to enter at a, you know, a high probability entry. And so yeah, this is what we're at on UJ. Just gotta wait for this one. Wait for a pullback. Yeah. All right. I mean, for those of you that are wondering what lower time frame intraday trades, you know, you could catch, this could be one right here. So we know we're looking to target down towards 109.5. Ideally, you want to see this. I want to see a cross right now, some sort of huge bearish variations. You could even get some sort of retest, but you want to enter on lower highs here that are confirming a new bearish trend. Okay, so lower high down here would be nice. right? So enter on this. Even a lower high down here would be nice to enter on. Okay, something that's going to give you, high probability setup. We're not just going to short as soon as we see a bearish engulfing. Just need to see a little bit more here, a little more confirmation, and then we can catch some short trades and wait for this to play out until we hit a major level of support. All right, so that's UJ. Let's move on to EJ now. And let's clean this up a little bit here. All right, daily time frame to start. Very bullish on EJ. As we can see, the most significant level that we kind of transitioned through was this monthly.
Yeah, hold on one second. If you guys got in on EU, just move your stops. Hold on, move your stops to break even because this thing pushed higher. So if any of you guys put in an order on EU, definitely move your stops to break even now because it's hitting this first target, and see how it just held above this level. This isn't like ideal, to be honest. It didn't form like a conviction candle to close above, but we did put the limit here. It spiked down in this level, again, and then now we just pushed up a little bit, coming up to the 30. The next target would be here, and then following that, we would try to swing it into, remember, the target is up here. That's where we're looking for this thing to get to retest realistically. And since we got in so low, it's, you could take 1% off right now. It's a great trade. It's a scalp, it's a scalp position. But if you want to try to maximize the return on this, on the position, just move your stops to break even, and you're in so low that you can just hold this. You could hold it either into this level right here, or up into this high where ultimately our target is. That would get a 3.5 risk reward there. So just wanted to update you guys on this one. Definitely make it risk free at this point.
Good trade.
Yeah,
it's nice to see it play out during the live session.
See this.
All right, so EJ is overall bullish, as we know. Let's go to the 4 hour, see what's been going on. We've been getting a little bit of chop up here, a little bit of range. So, every movement, we're getting a ton of consolidation. So, it's, obviously a definite range right here, a little bit of consolidation up here, change of trend. We found support down here, which is still very much within this range. So it's been bouncing around a little bit, right? But what we do know is the overall trend is very bullish. And last week we we're expecting it to either break or bounce at this level. Clearly it broke through. So there was probably a potential little entry in there. But let's go ahead and talk about what's to happen next. Pretty much the same thing. It's either going to continue with this trend. Let me just extend this over a little bit. What are these two? What the hell am I doing here? Hold on. These fibs are wrong. Let me just adjust this for you guys. All right, cool. 100 to 0. Good. Good. All right, cool. These fibs are good. There was an extra set that was just not wanted. All right, so here we are at resistance now. Just got above 38.2. We did pull back to 100%. So now we're moving higher. We're getting above some of these other fib levels. So let's go ahead and mark up what needs to happen right now. This isn't going to be a fib trade. This is going to be more so of a price action trade. 38.2 is here, so that could act as support a little bit, but we're not going to favor fibs in this scenario just yet. So ideally, I want to see a push higher, higher low with strong setups. And let me go to the 4 hour to show you guys what the target could be. All right, so this is clearly the level right here. Let me draw this up here for a second. So right at 130 flat. Okay, so if we look here, this had happened in the past, right? We surged through this level and then prices actually stopped. But did we see any higher lows that we could have entered on? That's essentially what we want to look for now. So here's one, the initial break and retest. That looked pretty good. It followed through with some conviction, nice morning star. But how about some of these other ones? Not really, right? So failed a higher low here, all this indecision, no real conviction, and then it flopped after this lower high. Same thing here, no higher low, right? So this is a fake out, obviously. So no, that's what we want to see here, right? We want to see this type of push, this type of energy, pushing through the level, then come back and form a higher low, a significant one that matches that volume. You don't want to see a higher low and then all these tiny ass bullish candles. That's not, there's no conviction there, you know? So that's what we want to see here. We want to see the conviction, we want to see that higher low, and then we'll enter, target prior highs, and then negative fib levels, so new highs. Okay, so that's where we're at on EJ right now. If it does reverse and starts playing in this range again, you got to wait for it to break. I mean, you guys can take trades, you know, in the range if you want. I don't recommend it, but you know, some people do good trading ranges. So that would just mean that you're looking for shorts from this current resistance, looking to target this current support, and something like this. Okay, so you can trade the range. Don't recommend it, but here is what it would look like if you were to. Okay, something like that. And then here is the level where you could see a transition. So lower high below that. Something like this. Boom. Then you're in. Shit. Okay. All right. So that's EJ. Couple scenarios. Short term, short opportunity, higher time frame, long term, bullish opportunity. So yeah, it depends how it plays out, and we'll see. It's looking bullish as hell right now. This thing is surging after all this indecision, so that's good to see. We'll see. So let's wrap this up with gold real quick. Kind of just a reiteration. Angelo covered this. We did see this fall out here pretty hard after this ranging. Thing just took a shit, fell all the way down towards 1675. Now it's pulling back. So somebody in chat said gold's pulling back. You're absolutely right. Nothing we could do on it yet. But essentially, we're looking for a projection from the area Angelo highlighted, 1700, all the way to 1710. So anywhere in here is where we're looking for this lower high to form, where we could potentially see that reversal, and then target lower. Okay, but again, if we see DXY fall out, like here, where is it? Because these guys are inversely correlated. Now, not to the exact pip. To say this almost every time, that just because DXY is falling, and let's say it falls 100, 100 pips or whatever, it doesn't mean gold is going to rise 100 pips. They're correlated. They're inversely correlated, yes, but this like DXY could fall and gold could just range. We could see consolidation as DXY falls for a while on gold. So just keep that in mind. Just because one's moving doesn't mean the other one's taking off exactly. Relatively, yes, it is definitely correlated. You see this is pulling back, but it's not necessarily going to change a trend, break a trend, present the perfect opportunity or whatever. Just, keep TA per pair. Use the other ones more so just as, use DXY as an indicator. We're not just taking trades based on what DXY says. Okay. So this is where we are on gold right now. We're looking for this pullback, still very much bearish as long as we remain below this level. So that's what we'll look for. We'll look for those shorts. Okay. But if this happens, let's say we do get a break here, we get some sort of higher low, then yeah, we'll change our bias. We'll start looking at potential long opportunities off this area and take it from there. All right, so that's gold. That's gold. This was one hell of a drop though. Damn, such a good trade. But yeah, guys, that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Quick recap to DXY, AU, AJ, UJ, EJ, and gold. All right, look at this thing. This thing was popping right now. Where was it?
I'm going to just share up because, guys, we've got a bunch of this stuff playing out right now. So I'm going to just update you real quick on it. So we were looking at EU. This thing's pushing a bit higher, which is with the trade idea. Same with GU. So this one I never would have. We remember the idea was break above here, retest, go long. This never gave us the retest because this follow-up candle closed long wick. So I'm not going to just start buying here. And then we just spike this level and just head higher. So no entry on this one, even though that's what we were talking about. UCAD, remember on the 4 hour, this thing is in that ascending channel. So it's breaking out of the channel now. This is a weakening. We've been waiting for UCAD to make this move for literally the past 2 weeks. And now that it's pushing down and finally breaking the support here, all we're going to look for is, and this has got to close, this still has 53 minutes left on it. Now at this point, we got to look for the retest of the resistance. So we got to wait for this thing to flip around, come back, retest this level at a minimum before taking short. So the trade idea is going to be this right here, and then we're going to start to target, because overall this is the 4-hour move. We start to target down here. That'd be our first target, is this retest of this resistance, or even up here, this level. So we'll see if it pulls back. It's moving pretty aggressively right now, but it's most likely going to find some support and pull back. So that's another idea that we went over. And then we have USEF. This one is coming to, let's see right here, waiting for at least a 12580 pullback on UCAD. Yeah, that's exactly that level. Yeah, so exactly that level is a nice level for the pullback to come to. There's no business in getting into it right now, but this is confirming that we're transitioning to be pretty bearish, and it's right at that weekly level too. USEF, remember we were looking for either the buy. This buy is beat now. So at this point, what we're going to look for is the sell as this closes. So if this closes below, simply going to set a limit here and look for the retest, and then get in on a sell opportunity. As we could see, this thing turned very bearish, so we just need some sort of pullback. So that's similar to USEF. AU. We were scoping this one down here, super aggressive. We're looking for that pullback. Never got what we wanted. This thing just broke. And now we're heading higher. I'm going to delete this limit, this order, because realistically it's not valid anymore. We formed a level of resistance here, broke. Now we're breaking this level again. So we don't want to be in that order right now. So AU, there's nothing on this. So I'm going to take it off the watch list. And then NU, this thing's pushing, like all these other pairs starting to push higher. Remember, the target on this one is this 70520 area. So we'll see if we can get it on a position up to that area. It's looking like, we're just at this high. This would have been the area to get in on once this flipped to go bullish right there. And that was actually at 8. So that was a little bit before the call. So we'll have to wait on this one. I'm going to move this one off the watch list. So I'll update these inside of the signals. Appreciate you guys sticking on for the call. Little updates that we're going to do is we've got the sale going on right now. The lifetime membership's 40% off. There's 2 spots left. So you guys are interested, shoot me a message after this call and we can talk it up. And we're doing these one-on-one sessions now. They are new. So this one, the 4-day course, if you're interested, is $9.99. I know a few people already reached out, so we're only going to give it to one person because it's going to be a lot of work to do. 4 days, obviously going through everything. So if you want more information on either of these, just look in the Telegram. Look in the top here. Let me just pull it up. In the top of the Telegram, don't mind this guy's face. In the top, in the pinned message, you can get information on any of the products. And if you want to message us directly, just come down here to this live support and you can hit us up. So that's pretty much it for the session. This will be on YouTube. Afterwards, I'll upload it. And then the next time we'll be on is going to be Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. That'll be the Sunday Market Blitz. That'll be the next free live session, but we'll be live inside of the premium groups. So if you guys want to join that, just shoot me a message. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk again soon.
Hey guys, happy Wednesday.
Happy fucking Wednesday. Peace out.